Well, thanks for joining, and I'm looking forward to helping you in your career in network marketing. Now, before we start, I want to provide you with a bit of insight for you and those that you work with to help create more success. And I've learned that there are only a small number of reasons for a lack of action and a lack of success, and they are easily fixed. Now, the first is the language that you use. It's the first area to pay attention to. And when you're speaking to others about this in your business, they may not understand what you're saying simply because they don't know what the words you're using mean or what they represent or what they stand for. This is critical to how people respond and the results that you're going to get. So, for example, if I'm out there and I'm talking to somebody and I say I'm a diamond or I'm a royal diamond, which are important to me, and they're not in the business, they have no idea what the term means, how to use that, how to reference that. And as a result, they can get hung up on those ideas and those terms. So this is just the beginning. Just think of all the names that we use in our business. And as a result, people, when they don't understand something, will tend to shy away. They don't sometimes want to even look. So that's the first area. Be careful in how you use the terms of your business. If you do use strange new terms, make sure that you define or explain them as you talk about them. Now, the next point that I observed and learned was that we often talk with too much stuff that doesn't mean much. In other words, a lot of talk, but no real substance or understanding of what we're talking about by the person we're talking to. Again, for example, if I'm out there and I'm talking about building a business and I'm talking about creating a downline and an organization, and might involve a cross line and maybe an up line, and do an ABC and a three-way call, and we want to earn some income on up to 6 generations kind of communication is probably going to sound a little Greek to most who have no understanding, a lot of stuff. So more than likely, it's not going to mean anything to the person you're speaking with. Okay. And that's the key point. If you then added a picture or a graphic or showed a structure or gave a demonstration, provided a product or defined the terms, it could be more easily understood. And then again, that's the second point to be known. All right. Now, the last area is quite simple, but causes many problems, and that's moving too quickly with the application and not making sure that the current step or lesson is completely understood before you move on to the next step or the next process or the next idea. So sometimes we push people a little bit too fast, and as a result, they get hung up and they don't quite get the first step done. And then all of a sudden you're on to the second one and then on to the third. And so here's an example of this. And then new distributor just signs up. Okay, I want you to go talk to 200 people this month. I want you to sign 10 of them. And I want you to get to that level called platinum. This might be a little bit too much for them to handle. Now, as a result of that, people quit and give up. And again, that's not what we want either. All right, so I hope this helps. I'm going to bring this up plenty in the program. Now let's move on and get started.